Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Media Arts Center San Diego live feed. This is our first showcase for the advanced workshops that we're holding this summer. We're holding a series of advanced workshops where our teen producers and other youth from the community are learning about how to direct an actor, and actors in the community are also learning about how to better communicate with the director. And this is a really exciting workshop. It's the first time that we do this. And we have two very special guests that have been working with us in collaboration from the San Diego School of the Creative and Performing Arts. And so I am very happy to announce our two special guests, Tom Antle, cinematic arts teacher, and Roxanne Carrasco, theater director at the School of Creative and Performing Arts. And welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Natalia.
Hi, Roxanne, and it's so nice to see you guys on the screen. We've been working so hard this week and seen some really exciting things. So tell us about this class, Roxanne. Tell us a little bit about where we started and where we headed.
So we had students that are directors who want to, up and coming filmmakers, and we had students that are actors normally for the stage. We put these kids together and came up with language and common vocabulary that we could use for understanding and better communication. It was really exciting because we have many different levels of experience, yet I am pretty impressed with the outcome of what I've heard about the dialogue, the exchange and communication between actor and director, as well as the finished product. That it actually a higher level of art was achieved through better communication, and it's very obvious to me.
Absolutely, and it was such a great adventure. I was so happy with all the work that you helped us develop as a team. So thank you so much for your expertise, and you have such an incredible experience. And Tom, tell us a little bit, we talked about creating this workshop, and tell us about how this is helping young filmmakers.
Sure. So in filmmaking, a lot of the time young filmmakers, when they think about film, they think about equipment, they think about the red carpet, they think about a lot of the tangibles that come along that you see in the filmmaking process, but communication with the actor is absolutely the number one thing. And developing that process and understanding how to take learning the language of film and knowing the language of actors, and how to get and inspire the performances that you want out of your actor, how to take a character on paper and bring that character to life. That's hard work, and none of this would be possible without having the talented actors that Ms. Carrasco brought to the table and gave our filmmakers the privilege to work with. It was really an inspiring week to see what was possible under our new learning model, and with some of the challenges that we have online. It was really an awesome experience, Natalia.
Yes, and it's been such a great experience working with you and partnering with both of you guys for the summer experience. I just want to throw in that this is the first of four advanced workshops that we're having this summer. And so the next one's going to be focusing on audio editing in Premiere. And then we're going to have one on color correction, and then one on building your online portfolios. But more on that later. So I thank you guys. So I might bring you guys back to actually ask some questions to the filmmakers in a little bit. So thank you guys so much. So up next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the next project to introduce the first project out of 5 short projects that we did. The first project was with the director Brody and actress Tiffany, and I'll just let you guys meet these people. Let's see, where are you, Brody and Tiffany? Come on in. Say hi.
Hi.
So,
Tiffany, you're muted.
Brody, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm Brody. I'm the director. I am a film student at SDS CPA, and I am a part of the Summer Teen Producers Project, as well as Directing Actors 101.
Awesome. And Tiffany, can you introduce yourself as well?
I'm Tiffany. I am an actor at SDSCPA, and I'm doing the summer workshop.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. So I don't want to give anything away, but tell us what is the name of this film that we're going to watch a little segment of.
Well, right now, it's untitled. Me and my writing team are still working on it. It's very big, and it's really good. And there's a lot more to it than what you are going to see, but we did work really hard on it, and it turned out really, really well. And I think you'll be able to grasp a good amount of story with what we made.
All right, so let's watch this.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, what happens next? What happens next? Next. What the heck? Oh, come on, this is absolute bull. Holy crap.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, you guys did such a good job. I really love that. So I am so looking forward to hearing your answers about this. So tell me, what was, so I want to hear from Brody and Tiffany. Maybe we'll go with Tiffany first this time. Like, what was the most challenging thing for you to perform? And then for Brody, what was the most challenging thing for you to direct? And before you answer, I want to make sure that our audience that's watching knows that I want you guys to ask us, the actors and the directors, questions. So please type in your comments and questions on Facebook, or and we will be able to see them just like you see this. So thank you, Keith, for the comment. You guys, they did a really good job too. I agree. So please send in your comments, and we will be responding to them. So what was the hardest thing for you guys? Tiffany.
I think the hardest thing for me was to play a character who was so different from anything else I've ever played. It was really interesting to see this character grow through the script, to see from the beginning to where it actually ends later on. And it's just really cool to see that growth of what the character had to go through. So that was the most difficult part, was that kind of character work.
Absolutely. What about you, Brody? What was the most difficult thing for you as a director?
Well, the most difficult thing was actually the computer aspect. Trying to turn my computer into Melanie's computer. But and also how we would do it. I knew that if Tiffany was actually doing the computer motions, it would be harder. And so I just screen captured the motions myself, and then Tiffany sort of reacted to that. And that just making that was more challenging than I thought it would be, but it turned out very great.
Awesome. Good job, you guys. I'm super proud of the work that you made. Tell us, what are some of the biggest differences between your first version and your second version? So you did a first version of this, and we watched it on Wednesday. And then we talked about some developments that you could consider and some other ways that you can work with each other. And we mostly focused on communication. Then today you gave us a new version. And you guys, actually, Brody, you added a really nice soundtrack to that. Very nice touch. And Tiffany, your performance had all these subtleties and all these like expressions that, you know, were just amazing. So that was kind of what I noticed. But why don't you tell us, Brody, what was the biggest difference for you?
Well, the biggest difference, of course, was adding the computer. That was definitely, before it was just like a reading. We were just reading from the script, and I actually the biggest difference was probably the script, because when I wrote it, I didn't realize how kind of robotic and kind of cheesy and unnatural it sounded until, you know, I heard it from Tiffany. And so I wanted to go back, and I wanted to make it more, you know, natural, and so I asked Tiffany like what do you think? And then one of my biggest fears was that I couldn't explain the character I wrote very well. And then Tiffany said, well, I read the script a couple of times, and I think my character wouldn't say this, but she would say this and that. And that kind of made me really happy that she could understand the character like just how I imagine it, just by reading the script what I wrote. And so we did a good back and forth, and we added some things and subtracted some things from the first version. And then we got what we have today, which is definitely 10 times better and wouldn't be what it is without how we communicated.
Yes, it was really good. And we do have a question coming in, but I do want to hear Tiffany's response to the same question real quick before we go to Keith's question. And Keith, thank you for your question. But Tiffany, what was the biggest difference to you between the performance on Wednesday and today on Friday?
I think the biggest difference was probably adding in the screen, because before we had a script and he was just reading what I'd be looking at and what I'd be reacting to. And I think just having the actual screen made it so I actually saw like what was going on, and I knew exactly how to act, because before I didn't really know how to act. But then seeing it up on the computer, I was just like, oh, this is how I should actually respond.
Yeah, definitely saw that in your performance. So let's go to Keith's question. So his question is, how has the pandemic influenced your outlooks on filmmaking? And let's go with Tiffany first.
It was really difficult because I do a lot of live theater, and I'm so used to being up on the stage and being so big, and so just like, oh, the back row has to see me. But in this, I had to really dial it back, and I had to really act more natural versus other characters.
Awesome. And Brody?
Oh, it definitely kind of really changed like how I look upon upon filmmaking now. Like I wrote the script thinking that we could go out and shoot, like it wasn't supposed to be over a computer. And then of course the pandemic and the lockdown, and I couldn't leave my house, and I was sort of in my room pacing like, how can I make a movie over Zoom? And then I watched like computer screen movies, and I realized that I could definitely do that without leaving my room. And so definitely was one of the biggest influences of how it turned out was the pandemic.
Nice. Yeah, we definitely had to adapt, right? There's a couple of nice comments that are coming in that I want to point out. So Lisa, thank you for your beautiful comment. Yeah, so you guys really did work together to bring this vision to life, and you guys did a really good job. So we're going to move on to the next group. So thank you so much, Brody and Tiffany.
Yes, I was influenced.
Were you? Yeah, we did talk about searching, actually.
Yeah, it was one of the first things that was brought up.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it. And I think you guys definitely brought it in more the second time, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And I'm gonna have you guys jump off of here and we're gonna go to the next group. So bravo and good work. Wow, wow, wow. So thank you so much. And so next we have, so I actually collaborated with one of the students, and that student's name is Ryan. And so I'm going to bring Ryan on, and I'm also, say hi, Ryan.
Hi.
I'm also going to bring Roxanne back. So hey, Roxanne.
Hi.
And so since Ryan and I work together, Roxanne is going to ask us the questions. But first, I'm going to have Ryan introduce himself briefly.
I'm Ryan, and I'm doing summer TPP here as our Teen Producers Project, as well as this workshop, and I did it in spring and fall too. So yeah.
And then, does your film have a title? I don't want you to give
It doesn't-
anything away.
Yeah, it doesn't. No.
Okay.
This is the first part of. We did a script that Griffin, who you'll see later, and then Trinity, who's not here right now, and I wrote or are writing still that we're gonna make during TPP. This is the first part of it.
Yes. So the thing that is happening is that we are going to see two versions of the same script for this one, and so these next two groups are going to be two different versions of the same script. So let's watch it.
Bravo. So I am lucky that I saw what happened on Wednesday and to what happens to today. And I see a lot of differences and a lot of changes, some subtle, some major. I'd like to hear, Ryan, about the collaboration you had with your actor. Talk about the changes that you made from Wednesday to Friday.
So we kind of just in trying to figure out like the space of everything and like what we could do based on the script, and then Natalia's house, like what was there. That was one thing that we kind of used the space better in the second one because I actually knew where stuff was. And then also just we talked about the character and what happens later in the script that doesn't even happen in this section that we did, to try to get a good motivation there. And then also we troubleshooted a bit because Zoom is not a great place to record a movie because it kind of cuts. It doesn't always do exactly what you want, but we did what we could do. So yeah.
I think that's the biggest challenge right now is the tools you can use during this time period when we're doing this from afar. So I get it. Natalia, as an actor, it looked like you were really, really comfortable in your skin and this is not normally what you do. So you look really comfortable in your performance. Can you talk about the language that he used or how he made you feel in this process?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a shift because, I'm usually the one teaching the Teen Producers Project. And so Ryan sees me as either an administrator or a teacher. And so we had to find a way to kind of like shift shake that up, make a shift, and for me to just be completely available as a performer. Also, my background is actually being a dance performer, and so I'm used to doing things big and gigantic, so you can see them feet away, and and this was film, so I had to be like more subtle, and I just kept telling Ryan, like, you gotta tell me more, like, because this is working, it's not working, it's just keep telling me. So I think we had a good, yeah, it worked.
Well, I can attest that from what I saw on Wednesday to what I saw on Friday, it was a major shift in the performance. So bravo, Ryan, because that's half the challenge, isn't it? Is making sure that your actor understands where you're coming from and what you're trying to achieve. So bravo. Now watching what you just did, is there anything you'd change? Because don't you always want to improve, right?
Yeah, there's always something I want to change about everything I do, but I guess, well, we did do a little bit more with we got there were like 2 minor shots that Zoom cut back to me while we were recording them, so we couldn't actually use them. So I guess I would do those. And then also, well, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it's better in the context of the whole script too. So just, yeah, I don't know.
Well, for what it's worth, for someone just observing the process or observing the finished product, I loved the edits and I didn't miss what you think you're missing. Oh. So yeah, I think really well done. Really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
you want to take over with questions, or?
Well, I actually wanted to comment on something that Keith mentioned, because we did talk about it a little bit. And if, Tom, can I bring you back on? I just want to see if, because we did talk a little bit about recording on some other platforms versus recording on Zoom, and how this whole thing works. So I don't know, Tom, if you want to say anything about that and how we, developed that decision.
Well, I think it was an equity piece. It's what do all students have access to, and what tools do we already have that we can incorporate into the filmmaking process. OBS Keith is absolutely right. OBS is awesome. Software that you can install to allow you to connect different types of cameras, route audio, record. It's fantastic. I think just to allow the directors to have direct, immediate communication with your actor, to give them feedback and give them the ability to quickly record and stop record. The Zoom feature, while not perfect, is what everyone had access to.
Yeah, and it also allowed us to have a conversation that since our focus with Roxanne was about communication, and so it allowed us to have that communication, and we didn't have to be like, okay, stop, and now shoot, and then go back to Zoom. It just was a little bit smoother for this particular purpose. But we're definitely thinking, okay, Lala, how are we going to do this moving forward? So let's look at, there's actually a couple of questions here, Roxanne, that you can ask us.
Oh, well, this is from Lisa. It's a great question. Ryan, how did you come up with the concept?
Oh, my dog is perfect. I don't know. Just to start, before I say this, another thing that I think I'll go into when we do the TPP version is more weird stuff with it. We were kind of limited on what we could do with like making the trash can do weirder stuff. So I think I'll do that next time. So the original idea was kind of just like a horror movie with trash cans, which is basically just my idea because I was watching Alien, and I love how Alien gets you scared without really showing the alien that much. So I was kind of thinking and then I was taking out the trash, and I was like, you could basically just do a horror movie with anything if you by not
Able
showing it too. So, yeah.
I love it. Was this pandemic inspired?
Yeah. I was like,
Or
trying to
like
think of,
looking outside and going trash can?
yeah, I was trying to think of things that I could do in the limited setting. So,
Yeah, no, it's smart filmmaking. Fear of the unknown.
Well,
Play on that.
I love it. Do we have one more question? Did we have one more question or? That's a
Yes.
good question. So are you going to be working on this more, or what's next? Do you
yeah.
have other ideas and concepts?
We're gonna be doing this. Another version of this with the rest of the script too for TPP. We're not sure exactly what we're gonna do it, but we're going to.
Right on.
And
Yeah.
then for other things, I don't know. I have like a list of movie ideas. Don't some of them I could try to do by myself. Here, we'll see.
Right on. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So I think Natalia, we should probably move on to the next video.
Yes. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Ryan. All right.
Bravo.
So up next, actually, shoot. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm going to bring you back on.
I'm back.
You're
Ready
back,
to
and I'm going
go.
to bring in filmmaker Griffin. Griffin, welcome. Yay! So, Griffin, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Griffin. I'm a filmmaker. I am part of the summer TPP session, and I was also part of the spring session and the fall session.
That's all. Yeah, you've been so involved. I love it. And so, before we go to the film, there's a couple of congratulatory messages that are coming through. Let's see. We have Keith. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you online. And yes, thank you so much, you
Gracias.
guys. Such a beautiful comment. Really appreciate that. Okay, so without further ado, let's go to Griffin's film. So as a reminder, this is also the same script that we just saw, but a different director and a different performer. Here we go.
Wow.
Nice job, you guys.
Yeah, really good job. So having watched the make on Wednesday and then to Friday, something magical happened from Wednesday to Friday, and I see that. So would you, Griffin, talk to us about what you learned from Wednesday and how you got to Friday?
Well, I think on Wednesday, I felt like I was focusing more on the technical aspects, like, okay, what shots do I want? And I wasn't really, I didn't feel I was paying enough attention to like directing performance. So I really tried to focus on that for Friday, by sort of trying to give as much information as I could about like the place that the character's in, the emotions they're feeling, kind of what's going through their head. So.
Well, that's apparent. Tom, can you tell us what kind of words how did he communicate this with you?
Well, I think like you said, the major change was I think we were both feeling the stress of how do we pull this off. When we went back to filming the second time, Griffin took the time to really walk me through, where was I in my own head? Where was I? What was my emotional state? What were my thoughts? And by that, he slowed the whole pace of my performance. And by using Zoom to do the recording, he was able to coach me at the table. A few of those shots we actually used from the first edit, but it was a lot of the expressions and closer shots on my face where it was communicating where I was emotionally, that we revisited when we did the second round of filming. So he really did a fantastic job of setting me up to understand the character and get the performance that was going to sell the story at the right pace.
Yeah, well, I was really excited by this. I mean, I was excited by the first one because I saw a clarity in the storytelling that he was after. But the second one, really, Tom, your performance just went completely 100% turnaround. So the communication obviously was key.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciated that. I saw that. So congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hats off to
Do we
Griffin.
have,
Hats off to you. Yeah.
So thank
So it sounds like you guys had a really good relationship
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys didn't know each other, have not worked with each other before, right?
No.
No, it was
Before this
just,
workshop.
we met on Monday at the workshop, and we had spoken briefly about a week or two prior at a different workshop, a screenwriting workshop. So there were the beginnings of this story, which I thought was hilarious and very appropriate for how they were likely going to have to approach production. So yeah, I was excited to work with him, but this is the first time I'd taken any direction from him. He did a great job.
Thank you.
And since you're a director as well, a film, did you learn anything in this process?
Oh my goodness, yes. If you, in order to express your emotions, you have to think those emotions, and your face and body will follow.
Okay, you're going to use that in your future, aren't you?
I am absolutely going to use that, and it was one of those things that we kind of, if you stop and think about it, but it was so obvious when you just say it like that. It was a complete game changer for the timetable and turnaround time we had for this project. It helped a lot.
Right on.
Yes, and you guys really did do a really good job at composition. Can you tell us how you guys did that? Because we were talking about like, how do you set up your phone? Like, you're using your phone. Did you use the phone to shoot that one? I don't think you did. Or did you?
So we did it
Zoom, right?
two different ways. The first time through, we were on Zoom. Griffin, you
Okay.
go for it, dude.
Yeah. So the first time we were on Zoom and we were like composing the shots on Zoom. But then he just recorded it with his phone, like the camera app on his phone. So we had to leave Zoom so he could record it. So the footage ended up being higher quality, but I couldn't see it as it was happening. So it became kind of hard to direct it. So the second time, I just recorded the Zoom call, so I could watch it as it was happening, and I could direct as it was happening. So that ended up being a lot easier, I think, for both of us.
Yes, absolutely. So we have another comment or a question, actually. How do filmmakers like the idea of getting feedback about their first version or draft, and is this a process you'll continue to use? So that's more for Griffin.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. It's important to get feedback on the first draft or first version of something, because it might bring up things that you never thought of, or like bring up changes that you could make or possibilities that just didn't occur to you, or might make you aware of a problem or something that you hadn't seen before.
Okay, and yeah, absolutely. And I think I definitely saw that in the film, like version A versus version B. And I was wondering if Roxanne, can you tell us like how you saw the change in the way they worked with feedback in the students? Like, did they?
I'm sorry.
How you saw them change, or how their communication evolved as they went through the workshop?
Yeah, I think that all of the directors, and Griffin in particular, that they knew what they wanted. They had an idea of what they wanted, and I mean from a technical aspect as well as an artistic or actor storytelling aspect. I think that what I witnessed was directors feeling a little more confident about being able to communicate what they wanted, because some of the questions that were asked after we were giving feedback, and we particularly didn't talk about film angles or framing. We talked mostly about the challenge of just communicating where the camera should be. Now let's talk about the actors and how story points. So we gave them bullet points to think about, and we gave them key phrases to use. And what I found interesting is that a lot of the directors said that they didn't feel like, well, I'm not sure I gave as much direction as I don't think I said much to the actors. But ironically, just in sharing what they were thinking with the actors, they were giving a plethora of direction to the actors. And I think that Griffin fell in this category where he may not have specifically talked about a specific moment or beat, but he was giving general background that really supported what the actor needed to achieve. And I think that was true for all of them. And it was really thrilling for them to realize that actually I'm actually directing the actor. And the more we communicate about what we want, the better the outcome will be. So I think that was exciting for me as a teacher to watch. Would you agree, Griffin?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what? Do you want to make any comment on that?
I guess
not.
Yeah.
It's okay. We have another question from Lisa that we can answer, and then we'll go on to the next group. So Lisa was asking, what was the biggest challenge of virtual filmmaking?
I don't know. There are a lot of challenges. I guess there's just a certain kind of ease of like connection, and it's easier to explain things in person. So you have to be a little more descriptive because it's all about what you say. So it's just like communication is the biggest thing.
It is. It's a great answer. Shall we? And Griffin, I want to say just teacher to student, colleague to colleague, actor to filmmaker. Really well done. You're very communicative, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, good job, you guys. So thank you so much, Griffin. I'm gonna have you sign off, and thank you, Tom. Wonderful acting, bravo, bravo. And Roxanne, I'm gonna keep you on for this next group, if you don't mind. So for this next group, we have Evan. Hi, Evan.
Hello.
And we have Kat. Welcome, Kat. And we have Albert. Welcome, Albert. Hey, so let's have you guys introduce yourselves. So Kat, can you introduce yourself first, please? Sorry, getting a little, you got to unmute yourself. It's a little glitchy.
She's muted.
You're muted here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to unmute you. Uh-oh. I think your headphones aren't connected. I'm gonna come back to you, Kat. I'm gonna go with the other, introduce the other people first, and I'll come back to you, hon. Okay, so Albert, let's have you introduce yourself real quick.
Okay, so my name's Albert. I'm a theater major at Southwestern College. I'm also taking the summer TPP class. I also took it in the spring. And yeah, I also worked on a Rainbow in Crisis. Just
Yes, recently. Very good. Thank you. And Evan.
My name is Evan. I also go to, along with a lot of other people in this class, I go to SDSCPA. And I'm also in the summer Teen Producers Project class. Yeah, is there anything else I should say about myself?
So that's good. Do you want to use your film have a title?
Not really. No. I mean, if anything, it's just the title of, or I mean, the name of the animal conservatory, which I mean, people will see, called Creature Compadres.
Yeah.
Which is, I think is funny. But yeah, that's what we have so far.
All right, well, let's watch this. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here is the game plan for this failing animal conservatory. We are in need of a graphic designer, so we are going to get one. Job ads will go out, interest will spark, and we'll have a professionally qualified candidate in no time. How does that sound?
I only wrote down like 3.5 of those words, but I think I have a general idea. Graphic designer, job, ads, candidate?
Yeah, you pretty much got it.
How are we even supposed to make an ad if we don't even have a graphic designer?
This works. What are we gonna do?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like I've lost my confidence since Julie kicked me out. And these dumb interviews aren't easing anything.
Hey, listen, just don't think about her right now. This is our time. Your time to prove that you are the best in the biz and that the compadres are the real deal, right?
Alan, I want to hug you right now. Okay, let's do this. Let's find ourselves a graphic designer.
Nice work, you guys.
That was great.
Thank you.
Kat is having internet difficulties, but Kat Banman is an up-and-coming 11th grader at SDSCPA, and she's a theater major. Yeah, so, all right, guys, really good job, Evan. It looks like we want to go back to Lisa's question, which was, since you were in different places during the filmmaking, how did you collaborate on the camera placement?
Well, for this, obviously, we only use Zoom. Like with the other ones, they had like different angles and stuff. We only had one per actor, but like for the next group, with Odalise being the director, like we were together since our script is like one after the other. So the next scene you're gonna see happens right after what you just saw. But we were working together on like capturing our videos and stuff, and so we were all on a Zoom call. I was the host, and then when we were ready to film, I used the OBS thing that I saw that somebody commented on, which is very helpful. I used that, and then I would record my screen, hide my self view, and then put whoever wasn't needed, which in this case would be Arleth, one of the actresses in the next one, and Odalise, put them in the waiting room, and then they would just run through the scene, and then we'd just continue on or do it again, or that kind of thing. So it was a lot more complicated than it should have been, but
Well,
it worked out pretty well.
well, I think you just learned something, right? The more people involved, it's a bigger collaboration. It can get more complicated.
Yeah,
But that's the nature of the beast in filmmaking, isn't it? I was pretty impressed with the timing of the scene. It's tricky being able to do a scene of natural dialogue. It's already tricky doing it live like this in the first place. And then, but to make it work, it was very believable. What was your biggest challenge? Albert, what was your biggest challenge in this process?
I think it was this, recording at home, collaborating at home better rather than going out in person to do the film. I think that was the biggest challenge, is because I'm still adjusting to the at-home learning thing. So I would say that what really helped me a lot was at least communicating with the team. I said that would help me. But yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge, was just adjusting to filmmaking on a computer screen at home. But yeah.
Yeah, I know you're a theater actor, and we're used to being big and expressive and having to bring it all the way down.
Mhm.
It's a challenge, and it's a challenge for the director as well, because he's using mediums that he's not accustomed to using either, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, and Roxanne, you did also talk about framing for film and blocking, not just in the frame of the camera, but also in the space and how they would communicate about that. And I thought that was super helpful. Thank you so much for covering that. So let's go into Keith's next question. It's a really good question. So what were the CGI aspects for the background? Evan, do you want to give a stab at that?
I'm not exactly sure what that question means. Like, what does he mean by CGI?
I think he means if you had any virtual background or effects and
well, Albert had one.
I had one. It was just
It's just like the Golden Gate Bridge or something.
Golden Gate Bridge.
It's just your virtual background.
It's from Zoom.
That just came
Yeah.
from Zoom.
I wanted to make it feel like an office type setting, because how people, they always, I don't know how to explain it, but
You want to be more professional.
Right,
instead of
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I would love an office in San Francisco with a view of the Golden Gate Bridge. So
Honestly.
That was awesome. So thank you guys so much.
go on to the reading scene, which is attached to this scene.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I was saying that should we go on to the next scene, which is a continuation of what we just
Yes,
saw?
absolutely. So thank you so much, Albert. Thank you so much, Evan.
Great job, both of you. Great job.
Great job. And let's see, where are you? Oh my gosh. Here we are. And up next, we have the last group is going to be, again, a same scene.
It's a continuation.
It's a continuation. It's the next scene of the same film, but a new group. So we're going to welcome Odalise, who is our director. Say hi.
Hi.
And our actors are going to be Arlette. Say hi. And actually, we're bringing Albert right back. Where did he go? Oh, shoot. We lost Albert. Okay. Well, Albert, come back in. And so let's.
Well, and Kat is also in the scene.
Oh, yes. Kat.
So, but there's Kat.
Welcome back.
Yay!
So can you guys introduce yourselves real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to have Odalise introduce herself, and Kat, and then Arlette.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Odalis Ramirez, and I'm an up-and-coming senior at Vista High School, and I'm also participating in the summer TPP workshop. So yeah.
Yes, and then Kat.
Who's frozen?
Oh no.
Okay, Arlette.
Hi,
Wait, we can hear you, Kat.
I'm an acting. Okay. I'm Kat. I'm an acting student at SDSCPA. Yeah, and I got this opportunity to work with Odalise and Evans.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat, for coming back. Ardette.
Hi, my name is Arlette, and I'm going to be a senior next year. Wow. For the SDSCPA as a musical theater major.
Awesome.
Great.
So good to have you back. Okay, so I'm not going to say anything else about this because it's just a continuation.
Yes, so we all know this is a continuation.
Yeah, continuation.
So,
all right.
Action.
Hi, Miss. Can you hear me? We're ready for you.
This can't be happening.
Oh, hello, babes. Sorry about that. This old woman loves to have a blood pumping. You know, a little Madonna over here, a little Shakira over there, and Wally, got yourself a party. Oh, aren't you a delight, honey? You probably got all the men at your fingertips.
Well, no, not quite.
Very far from that, actually.
Well, anyways, thank you for meeting with us today, Miss Shalwa. Let's get started. Can you tell us why you're interested in this position?
Of course I can, darling. Well, you see, I'm a Gemini, and I read my horoscope a couple days ago, and it told me that this month was it. It was going to be the month that I'm going to find my dream job. And sure enough, I found your ad on Facebook. There it was, right before my eyes. Destiny. It was perfect for me.
Okay. Interesting. Destiny, you call it? Carla?
Well, that's great and all, but do you have any experience in graphic design?
Do I have any experience? Of course I do, sweetheart. You see, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I'm an animal whisperer.
Yeah, right. Okay. Come on, lady. We don't have time to be fooling around, so if you...
I love you too, Jeffrey. Meow, meow, meow.
Sorry to interrupt this love confession, but
Meow, meow, meow.
Rana, you aren't right for this position.
No, I can do this, darling. I can draw anything. A tiger, a gorilla, you name it.
Quite frankly, you have no experience in graphic design for an animal conservatory.
Meow.
And being an animal whisperer does not count.
You know, I can add some glitter too if you like.
Prana, we're gonna end this interview or whatever this is right now. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. And I'm going to add Albert here. Welcome back, Albert. Good job, everybody.
Really good job. So, Odalise, what was it like working with 3 actors at once?
Well, it was for me. I think like I've never worked with actors, so it was kind of difficult for me. I could sit in a room and like tell you everything that I want you to act, but like working with actors, it does not work that way. And I learned that pretty quickly, that you have to be precise and you have to like communicate effectively. So that was one of the things that I really learned and hope to apply in other scenarios and working with actors. So it was really fun though. They did such an amazing job. So yeah.
Yeah, you could see that there was a nice relationship between the actors and the director. And I saw that on Wednesday, and then I saw an even better relationship by the end of the week, by today. Actors, can you share a little bit about some of the direction you were given, and what did you learn through that direction?
Well, from the get-go, she like
Start with Arlette.
Well, from the get-go, she completely just had a complete character breakdown, really helped me a lot, and I was able to figure out a lot of stuff, like just going my brain thinking, and then we kind of were on the same page. It was kind of crazy. Like when she was explaining the stuff, I was like, oh, I'm there, I'm getting there. And the accent actually came later, and she really gave me all these like nuggets of information that I just really use, and I was very comfortable to like be myself and to be my own actor and not feel like controlled. I felt like I could really be myself and really bring to life Prana as however Odalys wanted it, but also to my satisfaction as well.
I want to point out, she said, I didn't feel controlled. That is a beautiful comment, director, to hear, right? Because it meant that she was working, she wanted to give you what you asked for, but she didn't feel like you were controlling her because she's not a robot, you know?
Yeah.
So really, really well done. Albert, you worked with two different directors.
Yes.
And it's very interesting. Like, so I wanted to hear about your experience having worked with one and the other, meaning you were getting direction in two different ways because it's two different people, right?
Right.
What did you learn about yourself in that process?
Well, what I learned was basically trying to being more confident in my character, you know, being more like, you know, funnier when I was portraying him. So I thought it was a really cool experience to work with two different directors. And I would say that one of the directions maybe like working on the pacing a bit, because I know there were like a few awkward pauses. So I would try to, you know, empathize my lines a bit and just work on pacing and the tempo. And yeah, it was, but yeah, that was it.
Fantastic. And then Odalys, what was the biggest thing you learned in this process?
I think like Arla said, like majority of the time when I'm like doing anything, I'm such a control freak. I like to do every little detail, but like giving like that feedback from Arla means a lot because I'm usually am a control freak. But so yeah, that's really one thing that I really had to let go and let the actor do what they do, and they did such an amazing job. So that's the number one thing I learned for sure, letting go.
Kat, from your perspective, how do you respond to that?
To be honest, I didn't really hear the connection, but it sounded like she was super pleased with how it all went, and I really appreciated the direction she gave me with my character and the difference between my character and my other co-actors' characters.
Awesome. Well, I'm impressed, and it was a pleasure to meet you, Odalys and Albert, in this process. The other two are students that I know, but it was a pleasure to get to know you both. You both brought a lot to the table. Natalia?
Yes, and I have to say too that I was so impressed by you guys' collaboration, because I was a little bit worried, and there were some questions earlier that were referring to this as like we're collaborating virtually, and I was kind of like, oh gosh, how is that going to work out? Maybe we should just do one actor to one director and not let it be too complicated. But you guys went 3 actors and 1 director, and you went big. And you guys did an incredible job. That was so good. And so congratulations on moving your collaboration and developing it just really, really quickly through this virtual format. So we do have a question here from Ethan, actually. Thank you, Ethan, for your question. So he wants to know, for the actors, do you act in other local films, like films, acting versus theater acting? Go ahead, Alice.
This is my actual first experience doing this, aside from doing school projects. Like our history project usually have little videos and stuff like that, and they're they're just little videos we do. But I've never actually had a full-on experience like this. I'm much of a theatrical actress, and with a character like Prana, I mean, it was a nice leeway to go into that because she's just so big and out there, and it was nice just to be both being in a place of comfort, but also in a place of discomfort. Yeah, just for better words.
Nice. Any of the other actors want to respond? Kat, do you have a question, an answer for that? She may be frozen again. I don't know if you can hear us, Kat. Well, Albert, do you want to respond to that question?
Yeah, I actually, I remember last fall I took acting for the camera class in school. It was basically little, how Arlette said, little projects, little assignments to work on. But I feel like this was more of a bigger step into getting more experience, for a film that's being put out. And I don't know what else to add to that, but yeah, I think I've acted in other films before in school, but yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So thank you guys so much. So I'm going to have you guys sign up. Thank you, Albert. Bye. Thank you, Odalis. Thank you so much, Arlette. You guys are so wonderful and so great working with you. So thank you so much, Roxanne. I'm going to bring back Tom, and we're just going to kind of wrap this up. And I'm so happy to have collaborated with you guys. It's been such an honor to have this experience. I really appreciate your expertise and your just your willingness to just move this whole thing forward. And so I don't know if you guys have any closing comments that you want to put out there.
No, all I wanted to say is that this relationship between director and actor, that's not something you can just replicate in the classroom through showing a video. They have to have that experience with another body, another person who can, you take the vision that's in your mind and communicate that using thoughtful words to get and inspire them the performance of the character that is on paper. It's a magical process, and they did a beautiful job this week.
I concur. That relationship between director and actor is super important. And any great film actor will tell you the first thing they do is make sure they have a direct relationship with their director where they can be vulnerable, be open, be able to explore. And I found all the students this week very open, very much into that and trying to figure out what that relationship could be. I saw a beautiful arc of where they started to where they ended. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled because if we can have more people communicating better, doesn't that just make the world better anyway?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and I was just such an honor for me to be working with you guys of such incredible caliber in what I consider to be the best performing arts school in the entire county. So it's just been an honor for me to be doing this with you guys. Yes, and Keith is also inspired. Thank you so much, Keith, for that comment. So I just want to encourage everybody to look for our next upcoming workshops. And so this is going to be a series that we're doing. So Tom and I are going to be collaborating with some other folks. So go to digitaljam.org/category/workshops. And we're going to be doing these additional workshops on Adobe Premiere, which will be focused on audio editing and color correction, and then also how to create an online portfolio. There are scholarships available, and the registration fee is $90. And so I look forward to working with you guys sometimes again soon in the future. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you, Natalia.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.